Alright guys, today we're talking about Cyberpunk 2077. Been wanting to play this game for a while. I finally got around to it. Took a little longer than normal because I've been playing a lot of Overwatch 2 with the homies. So I'd always play that with the opportunity rules instead of Cyberpunk. But I did finish the game, got around to it. Shout out to Numer for letting me borrow his copy. And as always with all my video game reviews, be warned, many spoilers ahead. I don't hold back on that. I don't try and review stuff without spoilers because quite frankly, I don't in order for me to review it accurately, I need to include spoilers. So if you haven't played this game, you want to, come back to this video later. But Cyberpunk 2077, that is, was released on December 10th, 2020. To kind of rocky start. It was released practically unfinished, bugs everywhere, rendering the game unplayable pretty much across the board. The game was not ready to be launched yet, but they pushed it out anyway. One of the most controversial game launches in history, I'd say. Very rocky road for this game, which we'll get to later. But it was not a good launch, but it did launch nonetheless. This game is developed by CD Projekt Red, developer of the Witcher series, including The Witcher 3, which I haven't played, but every time I watch a video on like really good games or the greatest games ever made, stuff like that, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt is always mentioned. So that must be noted. It's by the same people as one of the best games ever made. Like I said, I haven't played it, but literally I've heard nothing but great things about this game. And before I forget any more than I already did, all the footage you see in this video was recorded on a PS5. So in this game, you play as V, a low-level street thug who, through a series of low-level crime jobs, ends up getting killed. However, you are brought back to life by a chip that you put in your head that houses the consciousness of a terrorist who, died. His physical body died in 2023, and once you got killed, that chip brought you back to life because the consciousness of that terrorist is slowly pushing out your personality while taking over your brain and your body. So that consciousness is moving in, your consciousness is moving out, and you spend a bulk of the game looking for a cure on a way to stop this from happening. So some of the pros about this game: shooting felt really good. I really liked all the gunfights in this game. A lot of the guns carried good weight, good satisfying shooting to them. I was particularly a fan of the shotguns that I felt were pretty OP, honestly, especially once you get digging down in the perks a little bit. I got a couple perks where it's I could knock people down with the shotgun quite easily, and pretty much if I got close enough to deal reasonable damage, hit them with a good chunk of the pellets, the moment I fire the trigger, they're done for, because I'm just bow, and they're stumbling around on the ground like they're walking on wet banana peels the whole time. But shooting overall, definitely liked it. It was quite hard. The fights were pretty hard, but I was playing on hard, so I can't complain too much about that. The visual design of this game is really cool, especially all the cars. They all look super cool. Even a piece of junk hatchback I was driving around for most of the game, it still looked pretty cool in my eyes. But even beyond the cars, everything looks super sweet. The buildings, the weapons, the people, the human design, everything about this game looks great. Especially with it being held up by what is, in my mind, pretty satisfactory and above average graphics. I thought the game as a whole just looked amazing. Now to what would be my two favorite parts about this game. First of which being the sound design. I loved everything about it. Everything sounded crisp, it sounded clear, it sounded impactful. Everything from the voices to the engines of the cars to crash noises to gunshots to explosions. Literally everything in this game sounds amazing, guys. I was pretty blown away by it. I was immediately just oh my god. And there wasn't a second where I wanted to mute the game or turn the volume down, because it was just all music to my ears. And with that even being said, the soundtrack even bumped pretty well. I have a specific song, The Rebel Path, in my Spotify playlist because I liked it so much. And second of the top two favorite things would be the world design. Might be my favorite world I've ever come across in my 20 plus years of gaming, or probably roughly 20. spend the game in Night City, which is a very densely populated, very crime-ridden, corrupted city. Everything was so cool about it. I love the idea how like crime is just so commonplace in this city that like pretty much everyone's prepared for it. Buildings were so big that I have frequently forgot I was inside sometimes because the buildings are so big. It was like whole cities inside these buildings, which I really like that. And it's just like the thing with people and like augmenting their body with robotics in this game, being able, it's like everyone in this game is essentially a cyborg. And I just think, and how like some people would go above and beyond with that, as they're called cyber psychos. That was the name of them. They like were super crazy modified in like a super janky way. I just thought the world was super cool, and like I said, probably one of my favorite worlds I've ever come across. But that's really all the positive I have. Let's talk about the negatives a little bit, which the list is kind of long. So the inventory management, I'm gonna get off the board right now because this might be more of a personal thing. I think Bethesda specifically mastered inventory system way back in Fallout 3, and they've largely stuck to the same system in all the Fallout since. I have to imagine 76. I never played Fallout 76 because that game was kind of a dumpster fire. But I have to imagine that one's the same between Fallout 3, New Vegas, Fallout 4, and even in Skyrim, it's pretty much the same inventory management system. And, I'm playing through Starfield a little bit right now. That game just dropped. Starfield's got the same system. So if it's not something along those lines, it's pretty much anything that's not that is less than to me. So in this game, they obviously didn't do that. So I would have liked to see something closer to that. But again, that's probably more personal opinion than anything. I was not a big fan of the whole the famous color-coded loot system that's in every fucking game now. In the sense where it's like white, green, blue, purple, gold. White's common, green's uncommon, blue's rare, and so on and so forth. I think that makes great sense in a lot of games like Fortnite, which is kind of the pioneer of that system from what I can tell, and online games like that. But I just felt that was kind of out of place for a single player RPG game. I feel like there was no need to have that in here. There's a thing called a brain dance, which is kind of low-key stupid for me. It's like a detective tool, I guess. You can like essentially a fly on the wall for certain events, and you like have to snoop around and see and hear specific things. You get various tools while you're in there to make this possible, to find clues as like where to go next and whatnot. I don't know, it kind of really killed the pacing of the game in my mind. It was that doing the brain dance thing's really slow and tedious, and it just really killed the pacing for me at times, and would have liked to see that not been a thing, or at least been a little cooler. The button to crouch is also the button to skip dialogue when having a conversation. So I think you can probably guess where I'm going with this. I'd be sitting there talking to someone, trying to crouch. Don't know why I said it so weird, trying to crouch. And I just like, based on pure instinct of just wanting to crouch, I'd hit that button and it would just skip a line of dialogue. And me being me and just being kind of ignorant, I would like sit there and be like, oh, why am I crouching? And then like hit it 2 or 3 more times and it would like skip more lines of dialogue. And I was like, oh, fucking why? And then this happened to me at least once a play session where I was talking to someone and then tried to crouch and it would just skip the dialogue. And just a very poor design choice on that front, if you ask me. I'm not a big fan of the car physics in this game. Allow me to divulge a little bit. In GTA, if you get in an accident, there's no accidents in the game. When you get in a 7-car pileup, like everyone does in GTA, you have the potential to just like go flying in the air. Car takes several rolls, sometimes even end over end, grilled and bumper. But in this game, you can tell they coded it to not do that. Your car is like bottom heavy, for lack of a better term. It's incredibly hard to roll over. And like in the air, you can even tell like you would be like going to like, you'd go have a jump and like probably roll around a little bit, but like the car levels out and it's like super quick to like correct itself once you hit the ground. You can't really roll your car in this game, which again is kind of a pretty minor thing, but I would have liked to see some more realistic physics in that department. The checkpointing in this game, mostly good, no complaints really, except for the final a part of the final mission. Much like a lot of open world games, you get to a point in here where it's like, oh, Just so you know, there's no going, once you start this mission, there's no going back. You gotta finish this mission before you can start going in the open world again. So it was in a part of the game after that warning. So I was having a conversation with the girl, talked to her for a while, and then I get picked up in a car. Well, even before I get picked up in the car, the driver walks in, you gotta talk to him for a little bit too. Then you get back in the car. You don't get back in the car. You get in the car, drive for a little bit, have another conversation with the guy as he's driving. Then you have a conversation with the guard because you're breaking into a big over security house. And then you get called on the phone. You gotta talk to some bitch for a little bit. And then you get out of the car and you kind of gain control again. Which checkpoint should have been once you get out of the car, obviously. But no, they put the checkpoint like before you even have your conversation with that bitch before getting picked up. And since I was playing on hard, and this is the final mission of the game, things are hard. I'm dying a lot. So I had to go through this same sequence 5+ times. I want to say it was probably closer to 10. And I probably wasted a solid 15 to 20 minutes of my life just going through this same conversations over and over and over and over and over and over and over again. And granted, it is just one instance, but it was it was just like one checkpoint in the game, but it was such a horrible checkpoint that I felt like I had to mention it. I could not believe what I was witnessing, it made dying in this next sequence even more frustrating, because I knew I had to go back and just spend another couple minutes talking to people for no reason again. So annoying. Oh my god. It's getting my blood boiling just thinking about it. It's the little things, people. It's the little things. The ending goes on for way too long. I'm not saying the ending was bad. In fact, I kind of liked it because they kind of leave you with a pretty heavy decision to make. But before you get to that part, you have to go through this rehab thing because you're working because you got the personality pulled out of your head and everything. You're good to go. But doing that, after that they pull it out, you have to go through rehab and mental and physical tests and stuff. And this goes on for at least 20 minutes, I want to say. I wasn't timing it, but it was way too long. You're just doing the same thing over and over and over again before a cutscene takes over. That's just doing these things automatically over and over and over again. And the whole thing was way longer than it needed to be. Not saying I didn't like how you were in rehab and stuff. That was kind of a cool twist I didn't see coming. And you're now in space, so that's pretty neat. But it just went on for too long is my main issue. And I kind of specifically saved this one for last because the whole reason I kind of wanted to play this game is because I hear it's in pretty good shape nowadays. Like I said, the launch was horrible. One of the most controversial launches, filled with bugs, unplayable. But credit where credit's due. CD Projekt Red says they stuck to it. They fixed the game. It's pretty playable now. They got a new DLC coming out, which Phantom Liberty, I know a lot of people are excited for. It kind of changes a lot of the just core aspects of the game. I know a lot of people are stoked for that to come out though. But this game launched in a very buggy fashion in 2020. It's coming up on 3 years now at this point, and I wanted to see what kind of shape this game was in myself. And it's not great. The first half was very rough for me. It was very rough, very buggy still. Stuff glitching out, environments popping in and out, people not talking when they're supposed to, and I know they were supposed to because I was sitting there doing nothing, couldn't hear anything, and there's subtitles across the bottom of the screen. Stuff was glitching into my cars, causing me to flip around and freak out. I remember even specifically one point I looked down at my hands. I had the barrel, my pistol, literally in my hand. The barrel of it was just going straight through my palm, and I'm running around like that. First half, though, was definitely rougher than the second. It smoothed out pretty well in the second half of the game. Don't know why, it just did. But with that being said, the game had a crash on me 4 times. I had 4 separate occasions where this game crashed on me. Since I put about, give or take, 20 hours into this game, that's an average of 1 crash per 5 hours. I'm sorry. That is way too much to be even considered remotely close to acceptable. Oh, maybe you guys hear that voice crack? That's way too much for a AAA game, nonetheless. Just a crash every 5 hours. Come on, bro. That's ridiculous. But with all that being said, despite all my negatives list being much more longer than my positives, I did enjoy this game. I was good for the most part. I'm not one to really rank things on this channel because I don't want my opinion held against me at any point in time. But the perfect way for me to describe this game is like a solid 6 out of 10. Slightly cooler than average, but you're really not missing much by not playing it. And a big part of me liking it, like I said, does come down to the world and sound design. Everything else was at best average, if not like slightly to significantly below. I can't say I'm stoked to jump back into it. I kind of didn't really do a lot of the side stuff because a lot of it I just didn't find very interesting. I stuck to the main story for the most part because like the side stuff just could not garner my attention. I did some. I'm not saying I did like a little race series, helped a robot car guy out a few times, but definitely most of what I was doing was the main story. With that DLC coming out that I mentioned, can't say I'll be playing that because, like I said, I'm not interested enough in the game to do so. If there was a sequel, I'd be a little tempted. In fact, I would even try the DLC, I guess, too, as long as it wasn't full price. I just don't think I can't justify like paying full price for like this game right now. Well, I don't know how much it's going for nowadays, but if it's still full price, wait for it to be on sale. If you do want to jump into this game, definitely wait like till there's a lull in games you want to play coming out. This game it's kind of worth, I guess it's worth playing, but it should not be towards the top of your priority list at all. Wait till there's like nothing good coming out for a while that you want to play, then maybe pick this up if you can get it for the right price. But that's really all I got. Not really blown away by this game, I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little disappointed with it. I was kind of hoping to like it a little more, but that is not the case. If you like what you heard today, if you like this video, make sure to give it a like with that little thumbie uppy under the video. Make sure you subscribe to the channel because I'm always cranking out videos, mostly food stuff, as a lot of the OG Milkman channel fans know, but I'm a big gamer, so gaming videos take a lot longer to make than food videos when you have a full-time job and stuff. So most of my channel is food content, but I try to get the gaming video out occasionally. Talk shop in the comments. If you've played this game, let me know your thoughts. I'd love to discuss this game with you guys. I'd love to hear any opinions, whether you hated it, you think it's the worst game ever, you agree with me, it's like just about average, or if it's your favorite game you've ever played. Let me know your thoughts. I would love to hear them. Make sure you use shit on the chest of all those buttons. And just in case you're wondering, next video game video, I want to be a little more open about these, not keep them so secret. Starfield just came out, jumping in the GAT game. Speaking of Fallout 3 and Bethesda, I've been playing some Starfield lately. That's going to be the next video I make on with video games on this channel. Really excited to get in depth in that one, really play the dickens out of it. Only like 2 or 3 hours in, but I am liking it so far. But that'll be the next one, so make sure you subscribe for that. I will see you guys in the next food video, because that one of those will definitely come out before that Starfield video. Well, many of those will probably come out before that Starfield video. So I'll see you in there. And in the meantime, thanks for watching. Love ya. Appreciate the time you spent listening to me ramble about this. And I will catch you in the next one.